Okay, I just wanted to share a tree bearing fruit. Share kind of like a celebrate the win kind of moment. So I had my son this weekend, and you know he's a kid. He's 8 now, and like all kids do, he'll like get really into a thing and then drive it into the ground. And you don't really, at least I didn't notice it quite as much before quarantine because, before quarantine, it's the stuff is spread out among a lot of people. And usually, like, I'm that person, like, I'll ride with you. Like, you want to listen to Old Town Road 100 times in a row? Like, yeah, man, I'm right there. Let's do it. It don't bother me. Because I am also that person. When I like a song, I want to, like, enjoy it over and over and over again. So, like, kids do this. You'll notice this. When they find something funny, they'll rewatch it or they'll repeat it over and over and over again. And my son, he loves to do that. So he's been watching YouTube videos of people, and it's very like bro energy. This is deeply bro energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I wouldn't normally ping anything within me, but like when it's all day long, over and over and over, holy shit, again and again, it was just like, oh, I think at one point I was like, hey man, you're not doing anything wrong, but can I never hear you say like boy, because he was like big boy. I was like, oh god, can you please never say that again? Just, you're not doing anything wrong, but like I'm gonna lose my mind. So anyway, that didn't fix things, because then there are just different things. I want to say, I don't remember which YouTubers. It might be Unspeakable or Mr. Beast or something. But there's this one thing where I don't know if they're playing a game or what, but they're like, FBI, open up! And, so he's just saying, like, FBI, open up! Like, he'll knock on a door, yell, FBI, open up! And then, like, come in and pretend to be, like, shooting people with a machine gun. And, like, at first you're like, oh, whatever, But, like, after the 100th billionth time, oh, I start feeling stabby, And it's not his fault. There's nothing wrong with that, that's memes are literally a thing because we love to repeat things we love. This is a normal human, thing he's doing. He's not doing anything wrong, but I'm also having a normal human reaction where I was just like so very over it. And I can't, I can't get to a point where I go, oh, stop expressing yourself. And so anyway, we're having a conversation about, it's kind of been an ongoing one, about how, especially with quarantine, we gotta find balance between never being with people and always being with people. When I was growing up, I was never around people until I want to say high school, when I could kind of like set my own, I could do my own thing, hang out with who I wanted to. The 80s were different. My dad wasn't really, I don't know. So I was alone a lot in my childhood. And then I was like, I never want to be alone again. So he doesn't ever want to be alone. And I was like, man, I get it. But one reason you enjoy being around people so much is you're doing exactly what you want to do. Like, he's an only child. He doesn't have to compete with siblings. He doesn't have to be annoyed by siblings. He's doing whatever the heck he wants 100% of the time. And I told him, I was like, hey man, like, that's not normal. Your experience of how things are is not necessarily reflective of like how other people are experiencing it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you gotta understand, like, your daddy and I, we are not 8-year-old boys. We're not gonna enjoy the same things you enjoy. We want to be there and present for you and, be supportive and enthusiastic. But at some point, we're gonna want to like take a break. We're gonna want to do our own things, and take care of ourselves. It's not your job to take care of us, it's our job. So we're having this conversation, and I'm clearly like angry And again, not his fault. I'm allowed to be angry. And I did say, I was like, I'm really angry right now. Because there was this other thing he was doing. And I was like, I'm feeling really angry. And that's why I said, I'm going to go to my room. If you could just be in your room. And it took like a 5-minute pause. Because I was feeling like irrationally violent. I wanted to like, I don't know, throw a thing or something. It's like I reached that point where I was just like, I was so angry. Oh my gosh. So I was like, just be in your room with the door closed. And then I went into my room and we were and it was like, okay. And then we came back and it was like, all right, let's talk about, navigating like the situation. So people, and again, you're not doing anything wrong. And also there are probably things that I do that frustrate you. So we're having this conversation. I've expressed that I'm angry, but that it's okay for me to be angry, and he's not doing anything wrong, and whatever. And he says, in the middle of the conversation, he says, Mama, I'm feeling shut down. Can I have a hug? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, get over here. Bring him in, give him a hug. I talked in another video about how that's a thing that I learned from my ex-fiance. Like, I was so happy and grateful for that relationship, because I learned that concept and then was able to bring it into my relationship with my son. So I feel like we both, had like a really good experience yesterday managing some tricky emotions. And, I was feeling angry. So I was like, okay, let's everybody go to their own places for a hot minute, and it's okay to say like, oh, I'm angry, it's okay to express that. It's okay to express why, we just have to be careful about like, we don't want to be lashing out at people. And that is something I have done in the past, and it's not a thing I want to do in the future. So just trying to be careful about that. So anyway, I was just super proud of us. And, before I would have looked at that situation and been like, oh, why did I do this way? I wish I'd done it better. And just looking at like how I feel like I failed myself or my son, and obviously I would like to do it better next time, but I'm really proud of us. I've had a perspective paradigm shift inside me where it's like, yeah, okay, let's, recognize our areas for growth and improvement, but also, let's celebrate like where we have grown, where we have improved. Like, he did great. I did great. He did more great than me. At least that's how I feel about it. But I did notice, the guys that I work for, I have messed up so many times, and they are safe people to mess up with. I literally would like do a dumb thing and I'd go and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, you might need to fire me. The entire first year, I was so operating on such a high level of anxiety because I was just like, I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired. I'm fucking up. I'm gonna get fired. Like, I've literally forgotten how to work. Like, being a stay-at-home mom, I thought I was keeping my skills sharp, and that was not accurate. It took me probably a year to get back to feeling remotely competent. It took 2 years to feel like, oh yeah, I'm a badass, whatever in my field. Like, because that's how I used to feel. And then I didn't, and then I was like, oh, I totally suck now. But so I would come in and I'd be like, oh, I messed this thing up. And they would go, we gotta not do this. All right, let's fix it. And it was like no lecture, no being like, oh yeah, remember you did that dumb shit like 3 months ago too, like none of that. They're totally safe people to make mistakes with. And I'm like, oh, I want to be like that. That's goals, That's totally goals. Now, obviously goals with a healthy partner, because, if you're with an unhealthy partner or an unsafe partner, you don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to think about stuff from 3 months ago. Like, no, it's important to remember. It's important to see a pattern. It's important to, because that'll help you move in the direction of protecting yourself or your children or whoever. But, you know, moving forward, you know, with the idea of like, one day I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody in the future. And I'm not perfect. And I'm going to mess things up. And they're not perfect. And they're going to mess things up. And I want to be a safe person to make mistakes with. And I want them to be a safe person for me to make mistakes with. You know, so if I have a moment where I'm, upset, or, you know, like you get those irrational, like sometimes you're just irrationally angry and you're so mad, like, I would like to be with the person who's like, oh, okay, I see you're feeling this way right now. All right, you know, get it out, and then like, you know, take some space and come back when you're ready. My last partner, he would not let me disengage. He would not let me get space. He wouldn't even let me have space in my mind. Like, I would be upset about a thing, and he'd be like, what are you upset about? And it's like, well, I'm not done thinking about it. Like, I haven't processed it all the way. And he would just push and push and push and push and push and push. That motherfucker respected zero of my boundaries. None of them. You know, he always knew better. He always wanted to know everything. He would not stop, you know, and so it was like, it really interfered with my capacity to, you know, process situations or be my better self, or regulate, or whatever. And so, you know, I want to be able to say, like, ooh, I'm really angry right now, and I need to like go somewhere else. And then maybe, you know, one area I would like to be different in is, I've noticed that some people connect when they're angry, and some people push away when they're angry. I'm a push away when I'm angry person. And I would like to change that, because I don't want to model that for my son. But right now, the more important thing is like regulating the emotion and not taking it out on him. And I don't want to be in relationships where I take it out on my partner. So for the moment, right now, I'm going to be gentle with myself and go, it's okay for me to recognize I'm feeling that feeling. And I just need to temporarily get away from the thing that might be triggering that feeling. Again, not that anything that's triggering that in me is responsible for my emotional state. Like, I'm responsible. But I can recognize, like, oh, okay, I'm being triggered by this. What can I do now? You know? So I just like thought I'd make a video because I'm like really proud. Yes, areas for improvement, but also areas we have improved. And I'm super glad that my son feels safe enough to say to me, like, I'm feeling shut down. Can I have a hug? Like, in the middle of a thing. Like, yeah. And, you know, I do hope, like, in the future, going forward, maybe I'm trying to walk that line of, like, parenting, but not being lectury. When you're in your feelings as a parent, when you're angry about a thing that your kid has done, it's real easy to get into that mode. I remember my dad used to do it. He would go on for hours, just for hours. It's just, he wouldn't stop. And so, like, I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be that parent. But how long's too long? Like 15 minutes? Like, is that too long? Because when you're a kid, 15 minutes seems like a long time. Anyway, still figuring that out. I also, you know, I also don't know that there's a right answer for some of this stuff. That's why I really like the idea, the paradigm, the way of thinking of just being more authentic with my son. You know, this is my goal. This is what I'm doing to meet that goal. You know, for you, for us, for our family, whatever. What do we think about that? Is there, you know, do we need to adjust? Is there an area for improvement? Like, what do you know? He's 8 now too, so I really do enjoy having those conversations with him. Actually, I want to say around 5 is really when we were able to start talking about concepts. So, yeah. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good Monday. I'll talk to you next time.